Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Moist Visions Inc., the home of your host, The Moist, from the comment section of World Class Bullshitters to his own stream here on MVI. Joining me today, I have a few special guests and maybe a couple more popping in here later on, where we will be talking about Season 3 of Game of Thrones. And first, let me introduce to you my panel of guests. I will start with the most frequently recurring guest on Moist Visions Inc., and that is the man with a lot of wieners, dogs, Adam Shawhan.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Moist.
And also joining me is Jeff the Dire Wolf. Wait, I mean Jeff the Iron Wolf. Jeff the Iron Wolf.
Hey. I may have to switch to that because that sounds just as sick.
At least switch to it on April 14th. And
I may have to
have a special guest who recently celebrated 1,000 subscribers. He will bring you music. He will bring you takes. He will bring you whatever your heart desires. It is the one, the only Abu Nas.
Hey, Brandon. Thank you so much for inviting me to your channel. It is an absolute pleasure and a privilege to be amongst you and the Iron Wolf. Oh, the Dire Wolf, and my brother Adam. So I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, and hopefully joining us shortly will be Black Angus Reviews, who is normally my co-host here on the Game of Thrones season reviews. So hopefully he'll be joining us up here shortly.
I'll fill in for him till he gets here.
Yeah, well, hey, I say you're on the panel now, so. You're sitting through the whole Red Wedding if you'd like to. Speaking of the Red Wedding, we're going to break down Season 3 today for you folks. And I think we were all talking a little bit before we all kind of got on our Star Wars rants that this community tends to go on. That I think, and really the reason why we're all together. But another reason is Game of Thrones. And Season 3 is arguably one of the best seasons of the show and easily the most impactful in shaping characters and obviously with deaths. But I want to go down the panel here and to get everyone's just generic, just overall thoughts, maybe not spoilers yet. We're going to hop right into the spoilers though. But just before we dive into the spoilers, just your overall thoughts on the season. Did it, if you're familiar with the books, if not, did it meet your expectations? Did it subvert your expectations? What did you think of it overall? So we'll start with Adam, and then we'll go Jeff, and then Abu.
Well, on the moist scale, I would have to say it makes you very moist. It definitely means, since we're doing the spoiler-free right now, if you've not seen it, turn this off and get your ass to watching it, because what you've seen in Season 1 and 2, buckle up. You're in for a bumpy ride, and it's a good bumpy ride, and you're going to love it.
All right. Yes, and it also made me very moist. I'll just get that out of the way right now. I am very moist from this episode or from this season. On a scale of sand to moist, definitely moist. So, Jeff?
This is my view on Season 3. It was the breakaway season. This is where it broke loose and took off like a bat out of hell, and it hasn't gotten off the throttle since. The first two seasons were kind of setting all this up. Season 3 is like the first big payoff, and you're just on a rocket ride from here on out.
I definitely think so. And I think, as we'll talk, you really see, like with what you said, breakaway season, you really see the characters kind of starting to break their own norms and really figure out who they are as in their role within Westeros. So Abu Nas, what are your thoughts overall on Season 3?
Okay, from sand to moist. Oh my goodness, it is wet, and wild moist. Season 3, I agree with Jeff. I would say, for me, on a personal level, Season 2 is where they really took off with me. Season 3 is where they cemented themselves as the premier show to see from this point on. I almost quit watching the show when Season 1, when they capped off Ned Stark, my man Sean Bean, aka Boromir the Great. I literally was getting ready to throw this series into the trash. I wasn't having it. He was the star. How do you kill off the star? What's the point? Who's the hero? And then I said to myself, you know what? Let me just watch the last episode, because I ain't watching this shit no more. So I might as well just finish the season. As soon as Daenerys gave birth to the babies, it was like, yeah, let me just hang around and see how this plays out. Season 2 came, and I was totally on board. But when season 3 hit, whoa, that was the capper, as Jeff said. They hit the ground running and didn't stop since.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you there. That is, season 3 just rewatching it blew my mind with just the storytelling that we've had with that DB Weiss and DB Benninghoff were able to how they were able to portray the story on the television screen as compared to the books and really keep it as true as possible to the books. There are still some differences, but you don't lose the general essence of the story, and you really understand the War of the Five Kings and how much that's going to influence the realm and really shape the events that we see coming into the future. So with that being said, we're going to turn on spoilers right now. So spoiler alert. I wish I had something I could just throw up on the screen for spoilers. I will maybe type it in the chat here if I can get that up. So we're going to go spoilers here from here on out. So that means that we can talk about things that have happened since season 3 and in season 3. So let's just start in season 3, though. And we'll do reverse here. So we'll start with Abu Nas. And let's say, what is, not counting the Red Wedding, what is your favorite moments of season 3?
Okay. It's been a little while. Obviously, I'm not going to touch, the you-know-what episode.
Yeah, we'll save the Reigns of Castamere episode. That is episode 9, a.k.a. the Red Wedding. We're going to save that for, we can talk about that for days.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I really got into Dark Wings, Dark Words, the second episode. Aya gets with the Brotherhood without banners, her and Gendry, and they really start making their way, to really getting close to each other, because I've always liked how they was paired off. And
Is the windshield messed up on his car?
What?
Is the windshield messed up on his car?
I don't know.
Might have
Sorry, guys.
You're good, Jeff.
That's good.
But I know once they got with the Brotherhood banners, it really started picking up, because now we really get to see Beric Dondarrion, who's obviously going to be an important part of the final season.
Yeah.
And his peoples, and just the way that their whole ideology in terms of helping the small folk and getting the money to do the king's will and stuff like that, and then when Sandor Clegane comes into it, and that's when the dynamics really shift, because Aya and Clegane is pretty much going to be the best buddy cop duo in all of Westeros. And this is where they really, start to come together, at the very least, the start of it, before they pulled out on their own. So I really got into, the second episode, the best out of all the rest. But then again, Kiss by Fire was pretty crazy.
Well, yeah, and just to say about, or just to kind of go off of what you said about with Arya and the Hound, or Sandor Clegane, there's at one point in the season that I think it's episode 8, where Arya has a rock and she's like about ready to smash the Hound's head, and he looks at her. He's like, "I'll give you one hit before I break both of your arms." and then he breaks it down. He's like, "Fuck the queen, fuck the king."
Oh man!
And he tells her that, and Arya, even just how they filmed it, you see Arya's face looking at him like,
do this like I'm
"You're on my side."
Submit a claim.
So
let's say he's trying to make me pay for it.
Oh.
That's not good. I'm gonna mute Jeff here quick while it's going on.
Yeah, let him deal with all that. Definitely.
Yep, I'll bring him back here then.
Not a problem.
So, just seeing Arya's reaction to the Hound was awesome. In that she's like, okay, I see you're on my side. You're on the Stark side. Or maybe you're not on the Stark side. You're just kind of on your own side, but you're being a good guy. And I think that, season 3, you start to see characters take shape of who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, who are the ones you want to root for, and who are the ones you don't want to root for.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you go from the Hound being, someone you want dead to being like, okay, I kind of understand he's just doing what needs to be done. And that's what she sees, to her, to the point tormenting a fat kid going, I like killing fat kids. I've already killed a fat boy, to then the little fat boy making her bread and going, hey, it's really good, to the guy that says, I'm going to rape you and take a stick and stick it in your ass. To her, the Hound showing her where the heart is, and her just whammo hitting him with the fucking right in the heart and killing his ass, and him going, "You're learning." I mean, it shows more character built and grow for a 3rd season. I mean, keep in mind, this is only the 3rd season. It just picked up, and it's been a high from season 1 to 2, all the way now to 3. You go from the Kingslayer losing his hand, Theon losing a pecker, to, and then of course the very end, you've got Aya having her own little band of gypsies, if you will, to losing all of them and being stuck with the Hound who she wanted to die, and then finding out that he's a good guy,
right?
Or at least not as bad as she thought. On top of the magical shit that happens as she's wanting the Hound to die, and she's saying, kill him. And then the Hound is still alive, and the guy that the Hound killed sits back up, and it's like, holy shit, what just happened here? So yeah, I mean, it's just never ending fun.
Yeah.
When you sit there and watch it, you can be entertained and you can enjoy it, and you don't have to be called a racist.
Yeah. And I say, so I guess so Abu Nas told us one of his favorite moments of the season. Adam, what is one of your favorite moments? I know you kind of went into a couple of them.
I know, right? I just went through like a fucking 3 or 4.
You went through, but if you had to pick one moment, like, what would it be?
I would have to say, honestly, right, we're skipping that part out. The bit with Aya is really fun, but I love the journey that we go through with Jamie after he loses his hand.
Oh.
And tries to fight with his left hand, and then it's just like, fucking kill me, I give up, kill me. And his guardian at the time, the gal that was taking him in, whose name I am forgetting, that's what you're here for, Master Moist. Yes, it's just like, oh, what, life gets hard, wham, boo-hoo, and you automatically quit. I lost my sword hand. She's just like, quit being a cunt, just grow the fuck up. And then her taking care of him all the way through, when they're trying to give him milk of the poppy to clean, the rot in his hand, and he refuses it, to the point that they're sitting in the steam bath and he's about to die, telling the actual story of how the Mad King was just going to kill everyone in the kingdom, and how Jamie actually saved everyone, but then is the villain because he saved everyone, and is now known as the Kingslayer for stabbing the king in the back, and yet nobody knew. And even Ned Stark didn't give a fuck. It just wraps around so much just for being season 3. But yeah, that's got to be, I think, one of my favorite parts, minus, of course, the end. Other than what happens to Theon, which is hilarious, because that little fucker deserves it to an extent.
Yeah, well, that'll be an in memoriam section that we do.
Yes. But I mean, just even being tortured, not even discussing the dismemberment. Him thinking he's free, and then he brings him back to the same place, and they're torturing him, and it's just like, yeah, you kind of deserve this, you little shit. And he says this after he's been tortured. I betrayed my real father. My real father was beheaded. And of course we know where the story ends with him. It's not a fun ride at all. I would pass that ride. It's very dry.
And I think Jeff is still mute. I know I muted him. I'm trying to unmute but I think he muted himself. Jeff.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. There we go.
Sorry.
So, Jeff, so give us your favorite moment of season 3, not counting the Red Wedding.
Well, it's kind of hard to do that because it's my favorite, but I'll put it to you this way. The guy that stole the show from me, even though Arya is my favorite character, is actually Rob Stark. For me, season 3 was his story.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And his sins definitely come back to haunt him at the end because did he make a boneheaded mistake? Actually, made 2, but we'll get to those later.
Yeah. Well, it's like you see him, he's the young wolf. He is he's the kind of premature king in the north. And you see that this is a series that will, if you make a mistake, it will haunt you.
Odin!
Yes, and before we go into more season 3 talk, joining us now from Asgard is Odin's movie blog.
Oh, what's going on, boys?
Big Odin in the house.
Unas is in here. What's going on, man?
We got the All-Father.
Look, I do what I can as a super fan, and we got the Jeff the Iron Wolf. I always got to try to bring in the All-Father, Odin. Glad you could make it, sir.
Glad I had time to be able to stop in for a bit. How's it going, everybody?
I say Odin, we're talking season 3 of Game of Thrones, so that is the famous Red Wedding season.
Yes, okay.
Not counting the Red Wedding because we haven't dove into that yet. Do you have a favorite moment or just memory that sticks out from this season?
Oh man, it's come to the point now because when you go to individual seasons, the whole story just melds together for me. Like
we're in the spoiler zone, so feel free to drop spoilers too.
All right, so I am just having to look up just to see some of the episodes that came in during this time period.
Yeah, I know because even for me, Odin, season 3 and season 4, besides the big moment of the Red Wedding, kind of meld together. So I'm gonna have to remember. Okay, so what did the Hound and Arya do?
No, exactly right. Yeah.
Well, while Odin is looking up something here, I'll give you one of my also favorite moments of the season, and I think it's something very crucial that is overlooked, and it became a meme. And I feel like by season 6, we were all feeling for him. The man that has to have just a body of steel, and that's got to be Gendry. Gendry's rowing when he was sent out by Davos in episode 10. The last we saw of Gendry until season 7 was him just rowing. So the meme was born where Gendry's rowing. Just it's like, what's Gendry up to? Just rowing, Hell, he could have circumnavigated the globe
by that point.
Those 3 seasons. Yeah. So I think we need more love for Gendry. And
but the thing is, Moist, the thing is though, when you actually find him later and it's like where he ends up, it's like wow, really? He was there the whole time?
It's awesome that they actually give a little, Davos, they actually wrote it in where Davos kind of jokes about him rowing. I'm just like, that's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious. But it's just I literally finished rewatching episode 10 of season 3 about 10 minutes before we went live. So, and I just saw it. I'm just like, oh my gosh, because I remember even watching it with my friends. We would all just joke. We're like, oh, I wonder where Gendry is. Maybe he's in Pentos. Maybe he's over in Bravos. Maybe he's Lord knows where. Maybe he founded his own civilization.
And then when you finally catch up to him, it's like, wow, really? That's where he landed?
Yep.
But his explanation is priceless.
Oh, yeah. But so here, let's go to Odin here.
So looking over some of the episodes, I love how the Unsullied are brought into this season.
Yeah.
I love how the story of it's just, to me, one of my favorite character arcs, and I really forgot just how much I like her character arc after me and my wife are starting to rewatch the entire series, and so we're a few episodes now into season 1, and I just forgot just how much of a change you have going on with the oh my gosh, I'm blanking out on names. Daenerys, thank you. Oh my god, Daenerys, the mother of dragons. Sorry. And it just to see how much her character has changed, and to me, when she gets to the army of the Unsullied and gets them and has them, destroy their former slave master, to me, that was an iconic moment in her character development, in her character arc. To me, that was okay, now she is on the road to being a very, very clear badass.
The best part of that scene though is when that guy had been making fun of her the entire time in Old Valerian, and she turned right around and started spitting it at him.
Oh my god, you're right. I forgot about that. Oh, it's so
that
great.
was hilarious. She's like,
yeah.
I was raised to speak Old Valerian, you moron.
Yeah, I would say we'll go Abu Nas. What do you think of Daenerys' storyline here in season 3?
Oh, that it was just as Odin says. It was like she started off meekly and this, that, whatever. Viserys, had a foothold, his foot on her neck, on everything. I mean, she couldn't breathe, she couldn't move. She had to marry Khal Drogo, and against her will, she ain't really want to get married to him. Everything that happened while she was there in Pentos was all for the Viserys to try to get this army to head back to Westeros to take his father's throne back. That's it. All she was just basically the means to the end. Now, afterwards, when she married Khal Drogo, then all this, all the pomp and circumstances of the queen of the Dothraki came into play. And the more she started getting confident and that, it wasn't until when Drogo got capped off and she had to go through all those trials in the desert around season 2, that's when she knew she had to toughen up. Especially when they got to the city and he had to go through that, that little rigmarole. So by the time season 3 came, she had a clear thing that she was going to defend her people, number one, and then use that pretext because she has people under her care that she was going to go back to Westeros and then handle her business. But she's not going back to Westeros with the type of mindset that Viserys was going back there for.
Well, I have to kind of disagree. She has part of his mindset of I need an army, but I need an army that will follow me into the jaws of hell. So that way I can take back my throne. But she's not like just trying to be Viserys of I just need an army, I need it now. I'm impatient. No, she's taking her sweet time to build her forces and get ready to launch that big invasion.
I guess the way I looked at it with her was that the mentality of how she's doing it in terms of, because Viserys pretty much wanted to go there, get the throne, but he wanted to wipe out everybody that just blah, blah. Daenerys was of the mindset that I'm going there to get my throne because number one, it's my birthright. But I guess in her mind, she had a following as opposed to Viserys did not. And she knew that her people that she's bringing along with them to this new world, listen, I'm going to take care of my people, and I need a throne, and I need to get back to my homeland so they can be secure, and then I can rule the way that I was supposed to rule.
Well, and here in this season 2, we're introduced to the second sons with Daario Naharis.
That's right.
One little spoiler that goes beyond this season. I was so pissed when they couldn't get back the original actor for Varios.
Yeah.
So he was so much better than the guy that replaced him.
Yeah. That is, rewatching, I did notice that. I was like, damn it, this guy was awesome. But the thing is, Daenerys, I mean, you can see how just the evolution of her character and the character arc and her learning how to be a leader.
Yes,
because she has
leader moments.
Yeah, and the thing is, she gets the Unsullied in the beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. And then in the end, she's bringing the Second Sons, who is essentially a mercenary group. And she has to prove that, they deserve to, they need to be led by her. And what does she essentially, convinces Daario just basically because Daario is just enchanted with her. But whenever you see the leaders of the Second Sons, they're basically calling her a bitch, a C word, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Just kind of saying like, oh, we're just going to have sex with you and we're going to pass you around like crazy after the battles are won. You're basically a prostitute and a whore. And the best part was whenever they walk out of her tent, minus Daario, one of the guys slaps Missandei's ass and looks at Sir Barristan and says, when the battle comes, kill that guy first.
Yeah.
It's like this is perfect. You see her go from one of the most vulnerable women in the show to being one of the most powerful already, and this is just season 3.
Yeah, and I love her at the end of season 3. Basically, she challenges that city and says, you give me what I want, or I'm going to kill you all. And what happens? She basically gets an entire slave population freed at her feet and now revere her basically as a goddess.
Yep.
So, Adam, we haven't heard from you in a little bit. So what are some of your thoughts on Daenerys' storyline in season 3?
I love the fact by season 3, she sits there and talks. She's like, yes, my brother would have let the entire army rape me just to get the crown. He told me so. Because when you first meet her, she's just so timid, just, a little blonde, little pretty blonde that, really doesn't have much to say. Then she goes through all these trials and tribulations, unlike our favorite plank of wood, Ray. Character building, but we're not allowed to have strong women. We all fear, the strong women character. Bullshit.
Blah.
Yes, it. But I mean, this shows you a story done right, shot right, filmed right, that we can all enjoy. And the sex doesn't matter. The unsolid, strong as hell. Love it. The nipple scene. Come on, man.
Ow, that hurt. That just hurt.
She's just standing there looking at him like, this is ridiculous. This is what you do to him. We make I think the icing on the cake for her was, you must go kill a baby in front of the mother. And that was it. She's just like, I'm going to kill all you fucks. And she does. When the guy's yelling about the dragon, they're both questioning her. Don't give him a dragon. Gives him the dragon. And then the dragon burns him up. And they're just killing everybody. Great. And that's right at the beginning of the season,
Yeah,
and then we go all the way to the end.
To Adam, and the thing I love is the memes about, you see the dragons burning in the background, and then you have the glasses that drop down on her face, and it just says, deal with it. Those memes were so great.
Yes, they were.
And
I mean, that's just great.
One thing too, I guess I know Odin, you might really be able to comment on this here.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's a benefit? And I think what makes this show even more great is there are so many of the actresses and actors that we see grow up.
Oh yeah.
The show. So like we see, Sophie Turner as Sansa, as a young lady become a woman. Emilia Clarke, when she was Daenerys, she was like in her mid-20s, and now she's in her 30s or whatever. Mm-hmm. So you kind of. They're in real life, they are maturing and growing up.
Yeah.
I for me, just kind of, not as like a movie critic or, just kind of like the layman watching the show. I'm like, I think that's a benefit to the show. And it really just builds on the characters already written.
Oh no, absolutely. Because it adds that little bit of extra oomph to the character development, because not only are you really understanding the characters and all of their respective arcs and seeing them move from point A to point B, but you're also seeing the actual live actors themselves going through development. And it's really interesting because I think they cast a lot of these people really at a perfect age, especially with the way they're presenting the characters on screen. Because obviously, when it comes to adaptations of books, they don't always get every detail correct. They're not always going to follow, especially when it comes to age or looks. Just like I'm sure you talked about in season 1, it wasn't amazing when Tyrion at one point had blonde hair, and they were trying to go with that point from the book, and then they kind of just said, "Oh, whatever, it doesn't matter," because people don't, at the end of the day, people don't really care about those kind of details anymore. And it really is just interesting how they're able to really, I think, cast especially the female roles, I think, so well. But I mean, you can see the same thing about the male roles too, because you have some of the younger Stark children who start off a certain way, fresh faced, and then it's just amazing to see their growth and how their actual real life biological growth matches up so well with their growth as characters. And I think that it was really just brilliant on their part to be able to not only pick them at that age, but also to allow the story and the way that they're telling the story to be able to utilize and take advantage of that fact, to take advantage of the age of the kids and how they are themselves progressing. It's been awesome to see. And also too, speaking of Sophie Turner, it's been great to see her turn from a terrible actress to a fantastic one. Like, it seriously has been really cool, because when she first started out, she was so green and you could tell. And I remember I was so annoyed, not because her character was supposed to be annoying, but just I was like, God, I just can tell that you're acting and it's so rough. But then as the seasons have gone on, and especially this last one, I'm like, damn, this is awesome to see someone who came in green and because of this show has now become a pretty solid actress overall. So that's been cool to see too.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's a benefit to entertainment as a whole.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, on Odin's note, the probably the 3 best to watch from that age standpoint has probably been Arya, Sansa, and actually there's 4, Kit Harington, because
Yeah.
boy did
Yeah,
he
even
look
him.
young at the beginning, and you get to him by the end, like last season, it's like, holy shit, he looks like an old man. And even though he got cut off, Joffrey, you could even see Joffrey growing older.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, I think that's a great point too. And I think that's something that, you know, we can definitely, you know, segue into here, is talking about Joffrey in season 3.
Oh man, that kid was just.
I just sense the frustration with Odin.
But no, from day one, man.
We'll go to Abu Nas first.
Oh, please, yeah, go.
And then we'll hop over to Odin. That way, Odin can bring up some great rants about Joffrey. But Abu Nas, what do you think about Joffrey in season 3? We really see, you know, we really get to see some of his rule and his cruelty. I mean, we saw his cruelty in season 1 at the end of the season with Ned Stark. But I think season 3, it's like it's mature. His rule is maturing, and it's like he ain't changing anymore, and he's not changing his rule. You know, he might look at things a little different, but he's still that young boy in charge.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Joffrey in season 3, I mean, he was already out of control on season 2, but season 3, he pretty much stepped it up. I mean, obviously he was feeling himself after the Battle of Blackwater, so you know he had to go into his whole, you know, they've got to worship me, you know, I'll smack the shit out you, and you know,
he didn't do anything.
Pulled out, and all the good stuff you come to see from Joffrey, obviously. But when Margie came, because this is when Margie Tyrell came into the scene, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy, Mama Dearest wasn't having that, boy, because she had his hooks on him immediately, and it was so weird because she just had a way of actually being able to control him, or at least control him to the point where his whole focus was on Margie. And then Cersei's looking at like, the fuck am I looking at here? What's going on?
and a great.
He followed everything that she suggested. He had an open ear to her. But at the very least, you know, his personality from season 2 and season 3 kind of switched a little bit. I mean, he's still the same asshole, but you get to see how he can be manipulated if the right people was around him. Obviously, they thought his mother was the one to, you know, rein him in, as Big Daddy Tywin told her to do. But unfortunately, it was Marjorie, and Cersei had a meltdown behind it.
So, and I mean, I think just going off with Cersei and Marjorie's kind of, you know, relationship in episode 8, whenever Tyrion marries Sansa, Cersei tells Marjorie Tyrell the story of the reigns of Castamere, House Reign of Castamere, and how, you know, why it's the Lannister song, and essentially what happened was the reigns of Castamere were the second wealthiest family, just like the Tyrells are, and they challenged the Lannisters. And what did Tywin Lannister do? He killed them all. He killed everyone. Killed the kids, the women, the men, every one of them, and served it as a warning to the Tyrells. And now we know what's happened going forward. It's like, damn, the foreshadowing. Holy crap.
Tyrell got wiped out by the Lannisters. History repeated itself.
Exactly. And so Odin and Jeff, I know Odin seemed excited to talk about Joffrey.
Well, I mean, I just have to say straight up, Jack Gleason was the perfect choice for Joffrey. And even from season 1 alone, I like this kid. Even though he was despicable and disgusting, this was an example of a character who was acted to perfection. He was like, seriously, I freaking love him. And so this season especially, you really get to see him have fun, even more fun than he's already had with the character. And
the funny thing is, Odin, Jack Gleason is actually one of the nicest guys you will ever meet.
But that's how you know. He's a great actor. The fact that he's one of the nicest kids out there, but yet he plays such a douche. And it's like, it's a douche that you love, though, because the whole time you're like, oh my God, I hate you, but I love the fact that I hate you. I remember when I was watching this season live, I was like, God, he's so evil, but I love it. I love it. It's so good. I love it so much. Yeah.
Odin, let me get your opinion because I want you to confess something.
Oh boy.
I know you like Joffrey. I know you like him being an asshole.
Yeah.
But when you first saw him in season 1, you got to admit, when he took that imp slap from Tyrion, and he said, "Oh,
I loved it. It was great. It was great."
Oh, it's awesome.
But no, seriously, that's why I love him as an actor, because when that happened and he got slapped multiple times, like there's one of the best compilations ever. There is a scene that sets that entire thing to the Guile theme. And it is perfect because literally he slaps him, and all of a sudden he hears da dun dun da 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 dun da dun dun da, and it's like, and then all of a sudden he walks away, like, and as Tyrion's walking away, you hear that da dun 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 dun. Oh, it's so good. But no, seriously, I love that scene. I love that scene so much. But season 3 especially is when he just, I think, starts to have so much fun with being just an evil person, and that's why, like seriously, and it was one of those things where that's why with Jack Gleason, you love him. With oh gosh, I'm losing all these names now, but with the woman that plays what's her name, the queen,
Sorry,
Cersei, like seriously, that actress, oh my god,
Lena Headey.
Lena Headey, exactly right. Oh my,
she has always been a fantastic actress.
From day one.
She is by far. If I could, I'm going to give a Moist Award right now. Debut, everybody, the Moist Awards. Way better than the Oscars or whatever. Lena Headey gets the Moist Award for badass bitch. You get that award.
And the thing is, Moist.
Ass.
And the thing is, Moist. Lena Headey in 300, Sarah Connor Chronicles has always been a badass.
Yep.
She gets
Dread. She was in Dread, and she was awesome in that.
Directed by
Zack Snyder.
Directed by Zack Snyder. I'm gonna let that be known.
Wait, Dread?
No, in 300.
300.
Yeah,
300.
Yeah, but Dread, she was fantastic as that psychotic bitch.
Yes. She has that role down to a T. So if she ever plays a role that's like nice and kind and is supposed to be the hero, I don't know. That to me will be her biggest test. Can she play anyone that is not a despicable human being?
Odin, she already has. She played Sarah Connor and played her perfectly.
I see. I never saw the Sarah Connor Chronicles, so
I didn't know she.
I got to go back to that.
Yeah.
The Sarah Connor Chronicle. She played Sarah Connor and played her perfectly. Because
I already wanted to see that because what's her name from Firefly is in it, and
she's great as the female Terminator.
That's what I've heard. But no, getting back to Game of Thrones though, like Joffrey, and like it's interesting because like Lena, obviously she's an older actress, and so she obviously had that pedigree. But to see a kid whose claim to fame was being that random kid from Batman Begins is like just amazing to me. Like, I love it.
Oh, the thing is, Odin, if you ever watched it behind the scenes with Lena Headey and Jack Gleason, and they're going back and forth having fun, it's like the chemistry for a mother and son relationship was just there.
I love it.
I mean, that's one of the things that separates a show from the rest is the chemistry, and they don't even have to be all in the same set or all at the same time, but the chemistry behind the scenes really shows up on screen.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, the thing is, and Jack Gleason, he's not into acting anymore. He's just focusing on his academic studies. And he did a talk, I think at Oxford or one of the English universities.
Yeah, I saw that video.
And they were like, how has this impacted your life? He's like, I'll be walking in the streets of London and I'll have someone come up, be like, oh, I fucking hate Joffrey. Like, that guy's a bastard. Like, damn you. But damn you for playing him so well.
and he's like, and the thing is, he's like, I don't know how to take this. I don't know if I should be insulted or, take this as a compliment.
I mean, I'm not an actor or anything, but like, I feel like that would be the ultimate compliment, having someone come up saying, like, even with Lena Headey playing Cersei, being like, God, I hate her so much. I hate your character. Oh my gosh, like I hate you. But damn it, thank you. Like, you're so good at doing it.
Yeah, that's when an actress or actor has done their job when they can make you believe what they are, but at the same time, you love them for doing it. Especially to me, it makes more sense with the negative aspect. If you can be a despicable person, and no, I'm not going to let you introduce this jackass that just joined the discussion. We're gonna keep talking over this. But anyway, no, seriously, go ahead and announce our guests. Go ahead and announce our guests.
Perfect segue. So what we were talking about here with a certain someone that just joined. You know, we're looking at the worst qualities in people that
in a character,
their worst qualities, and we can love them still. And a person that can do that, especially with a movie blog, is a man who's very proper, Jeremy.
Oh, thank you.
And not so proper.
Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it. Once Amir Perry cars spawned a mind of its own, for better or worse.
I want someone to create a comic series of the adventures of Odin and Proper Jeremy, and just to have like Odin going off on adventures, doing random things, and Proper just in the background, constantly like, "Hey man, hey man." I love it. I love it.
No. Odin, where you're King Arthur, he is your knight that says knee.
I would say he's the peasant in the field.
I was giving him credit. He was going to be Loki, but hey, shit. I mean, there you go.
He'd be your perfect Loki.
He would be the perfect Loki.
That's what I'm saying, man. You know, I mean, we've got Odin here, and he would have to be Loki at this point. How you doing, Proper?
I'm doing fine. I can only stay for a few minutes. I actually did not get a notification for it, so hopefully notifications got sent out for.
I tried tweeting it out, so we'll see if we can get a couple more people in here.
Yeah, so I tweeted. Something's been weird with my YouTube here thing anyway, but we were talking before you joined in here, Proper, and since you just joined, we're just gonna put you on the hot seat right away.
Okay.
We're talking about Jack Gleason and his performance of Joffrey in season 3, and just overall, you know, the casting of Game of Thrones, how we saw. You know, literally a lot of the actors and actresses grow up, and that we kind of all across the board agreed that was a great, you know, maybe not even an intended thing by D.B. Weiss and D.B. Benninghoff, but just like it adds so much to the characters, because in the show they're literally growing up, but in real life they're also growing up. And so in particular, we're talking about Jack Gleason, you know, in his role with Joffrey. So do you have any memories of Joffrey in particular that are he's season 2 or season 3? In general, but just his like maturity as an actor, you know, or just, you know, his maturity portraying an immaturity in Joffrey or something.
You know, he is kind of a whiny little brat, but at the same time, when you give that kind of person who has that ego that he does, and then you put a crown on him, oh man, you are in for a world of hell. And you know what's great about him is that you just love to see him do and just act so horrible. It just kind of sparks this emotional reaction from you as an audience member of, I hate this person so much. I hate this person so much. When's this character going to die? I cannot wait for that. But
I was waiting for that the whole time. Because like, I watched this season. I watched seasons 1 through 3 before I read the books, and then I read the books and then watched 4 through where we're at now with 7.
Right.
So I knew nothing about Joffrey's character except for what was portrayed by Jack Gleason, and I'm just this guy's a little prick.
He really is, and I think, oh my god, one of the worst things about that is, unfortunately that just what happens to the actor in real life.
Yeah,
you know,
he's actually such a really nice guy.
He gets so much harassment.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Shoot, I actually have to get going. I just wanted to stop by and say hello. Sorry about that. Anyways, you're having a great stream so far.
Hey, well, you know, everybody check out Proper Jeremy's channel, and he hosts the Council of Jeremys on his stream. He's the properest of the Jeremys.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
Check out.
Thank you so much. All right. Take care, everybody.
Have a good one,
Jeremy.
Bye.
brother.
All right, now Odin's a lot less triggered right now. So let's
calm down a bit. I can now just embrace it. But
hey, let's keep moving here. Let's do something that might get us all triggered and get us all fired up. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. In that
The red wedding.
The
Sam killing somebody.
Wedding. Abu Nas. I'm gonna have Abu Nas lead us off here with the red wedding.
Oh, can I lead off one? I haven't led one off yet.
All right, okay. Jeff and Abu, I mean, you guys can duke it out. So,
Abu, if you don't mind.
I yield my time to the dire wolf himself.
He is the Iron Bone.
We're calling him the Jeff the dire wolf on this stream.
Okay, what can we say about the red wedding except, damn. I mean, literally, it was just such a buildup. You didn't realize it was building up. And like I was talking about how Rob Stark, for me, stole the show season 3, it's his comeuppance. It is basically where he screwed the pooch the biggest, besides what he did to the Carl Starks. And it literally comes back to haunt him, and it literally changes the landscape of the show going forward.
Now Jeff, if you can remind me, and I guess everyone here on the panel chime in, did you read the books before you had seen the show?
No, actually, I haven't read the books yet. I still have to sit down and read them eventually.
Okay, Abu, Adam, and Odin?
No.
No books for me. I hear a lady in the background.
Oh,
that's Jeff's wife.
That's my wife. She's talking to someone. I'm gonna move off so she's not like right behind me. Well, I'm doing this on my phone, so I'm gonna hop over to my couch.
My response is gonna play into my answer, and so I'll hold off on sharing whether or not I read the book or not before I. When it's my time, when the time on the floor has been yielded to the senator from Louisiana, I will yield my I will then.
All right, so we will now lead it. We will yield the floor to Abu Nas.
I have not read the books before. I actually got to the books late in the game. So this was way after season 3. The only reason I started watching Game of Thrones was because of Sean Bean. That's it. Boromir. That's the only reason that I actually thought about watching the show.
I think that's why they cast him, was to get people in, because no one knew who, like, seriously, before the first season, we didn't know who the hell anyone else was. Like, unless you had watched a couple of random, maybe British shows, you wouldn't have heard of any of those actors for the most part.
Guess
he was
what?
the gateway. He was the gateway.
You can take one look at me. I don't watch those British shows.
Well, the thing is, the only person I knew outside of Sean Bean was Lena Headley. And the guy that was the captain of the Kingsguard that got let go and then went to Daenerys. I'd seen him in another show, but other than that, I didn't know any of them.
But even though you recognize them, you didn't really know them. They weren't household names. They weren't being picked up for everything. Like, think about how this show has impacted everything. Sorry, I yield back.
No. You're doing great, Odin. As a matter of fact, I was going to piggyback on you when you finish.
Go ahead, man. No, seriously, but it's amazing. Just to wrap up what I was saying, it's amazing though how all these no-name people have now become some of the biggest names, have now been put in some of the biggest franchises, for that matter, for better or for worse. And it's just so amazing. Sean Bean, though, as you said, being the person that brought you in, I think is what brought most people in. Because let's just be honest, I saw Sean Bean dressed as a knight, and I'm like, I'm down for that.
Done. I mean, Lord of the Rings cemented him on that, because he was doing a lot of indie films, and he was playing gangster. He was this and that. Then what really got my eye was when he did GoldenEye with and that was GoldenEye was the gold standard of James Bond movies as far as I was concerned.
With Pierce Brosnan, I was especially.
Yeah, Pierce Bronson. I mean,
it was all downhill after GoldenEye for him.
No shit.
But at least we got GoldenEye. So,
we did.
So Sean did a masterful job on that. And once he got to Lord of the Rings, that was it. So he was already on the map with me. And you noticed that the whole thing with the marketing was based off Sean Bean. Nobody else.
No, honestly, after I saw Sean Bean getting killed in episode 9 of season 1, I was like, what the, like.
Well, guys. Well, for me, here's the fun thing. I actually didn't really start watching Game of Thrones until like the third season had already come out. A buddy of mine had downloaded all of them, and he like gave them to me. He's like, dude, check this out, because my girlfriend and I, well, who became his wife, like, we're not really into the blood, sex, and all that, but we think you might enjoy this. I binge watched the first 3 seasons, and I'm like, holy shit, this is gold. I had to get my wife. I mean, and this is what tells you what's a good season. My wife is very particular about what she watches at times, and especially with sword and sorcery. First 10 minutes after she met the imp, she's like, I'm hooked. I don't care about Sean Bean. I love the imp.
Well, just kind of going off of your situation, you hadn't watched it until season 3 was already out. Same here. My roommate in college, he's just like, hey, you're a history major. You like all this stuff. You like, medieval stuff. You'll love this show. So I watched it. And I will tell you my experience watching The Red Wedding. And it is literally something, straight out of a movie. And so I binged seasons 1 through 3 in like 2 weeks. I skipped a few classes. And what I would do is I'd wake up early in the mornings and watch an episode before I would go to class because I had an 8 a.m. Well, what happened was it was like 6:30 in the morning. Now I put on episode 9, season 3, which is The Reigns of Castamere, The Red Wedding. And I'm having my normal bowl of cereal, like watching Game of Thrones. And I'm watching it, and whenever I see the Red Wedding happen, like you see on TV shows or commercials where it's just like very like the person spits out whatever's in their mouth, just like what?
Yeah,
that literally was me. I was literally putting a spoonful of cereal into my mouth, and I was just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Oh, Moist, like when you watch that scene, it's like, oh my god, like Catelyn Stark's death was like the biggest, like,
that was it, yeah,
nut shot. I was like, holy shit!
Oh, we're talking about the Red Wedding, aren't we?
Oh, look at this!
Oh, we got the car version of proper Jeremy.
Blah, blah, blah. Anybody else have any thoughts about the Red Wedding?
We talked about that. That was the funny part. Was you go back and watch season 1, episode 1, and we were just talking about that even pre the show. When you start catching the things you miss, Walter Frey would never hurt me, and then you get to where we're at now.
And has her assassinated.
Yes,
exactly.
You're like, holy shit.
And the thing is, the funniest thing is, like, Robb Stark was afraid he was going to get this ugly ass woman. Then when his cousin gets married to a very cute Frey, it's like, and then the Red Wedding happens. Like, Robb Stark, you fucking idiot! You thought with your nuts instead of your head.
Well, it was even better was when the mom's back and he's like, have you seen the daughters? Yeah. And well, there's one. Like, oh, but I'll do that because I need to do this for the war. And then, he crosses them, and then here's payback for what you did, and like you said, man, that's the part where his decisions come back to haunt him big time.
Yeah, and before we go on here, I want to acknowledge the chat here a little bit. Super Anime Gamer didn't start watching GOT until season 5, so they had a lot to catch up on. Nate G started last year to watch Game of Thrones.
Oh boy, he must have been binging like a madman.
But the thing is, he needed something after The Last Jedi let him down, and Game of Thrones. If you like certain characters, you might get let down because they might get killed. But overall, the story will definitely not let you down, buddy.
Yeah.
And
Moist, this is what I love about Game of Thrones. No one is safe.
Absolutely, that's what I love about it.
Yes,
except for one.
Absolutely.
I know, right?
only one, and the only reason why we know one character is safe, at least until this last season, is because he himself has been called the favorite character of the author, and that is Tyrion Lannister.
Oh yeah, the imp. Oh, did you guys catch? All right, did you guys catch the what was it? The Red Nose one where they made all those spoof songs, and Tyrion sitting here. I'm still around for number 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you talking about the Coldplay one, or?
Yeah, that one. Where the guy who plays Tyrion is sitting there like everybody's dead, but I'm still around for number 5. I was like, that's so great.
Well, and the thing is too, like, I mean, and the one thing going into season 8, I don't want to speculate too far ahead with what's going on since we're only on season 3. We're talking here, but since we are talking a little bit ahead, you know, A Song of Ice and Fire. A Song of Ice and Fire, is that a story of Daenerys and Jon? Or is it just Jon Snow? Like, right there, you know, in the name of the whole series, you have confliction. Is it Jon? Is it Daenerys and Jon? Like, well, okay, what is this? So I think that's a great thing, and I think the show has done a great job. Not, you know, you can see it's Daenerys, Jon, Cersei. You know, that's really the big three storylines: is Daenerys, Jon, and Cersei, with all the other characters adding into it. But one thing I think season 3 does, and I think, you know, what I think Jeff the Iron Wolf, or as I say, Jeff the Dire Wolf, has been saying is that, you know, this is the breaking point. He said season 2, I think, was the breaking point. And Abu Nas, I think, also agreed as well, that season 3 is the breaking point of where you can see, okay, here are the storylines that are being developed. Daenerys, Cersei / Joffrey, Jon Snow in the North, who we haven't even talked about yet, which we can get into that big time here with him and Ygritte.
Oh, God, that was such a great story.
You're starting to see all of these storylines starting to break apart and separate themselves from just the chaos of the kingdoms to be like, okay, here's a coherent story that's being told amidst the chaos of the War of the Five Kings.
Yeah.
And not to mention Ramsay's out there fucking beating the hell out of Theon Greyjoy.
Oh, no.
So that's going to be our in memoriam section. That's going to be our in memoriam section.
Moist, but here's the thing, though. Jon Snow's story, at least at this point, is the overarching story of this show.
Yeah, and the thing is, this show does such a good job. Like, we know it, like looking at it, especially now rewatching it. I'm definitely saying, like, Jon Snow's story is the story of you know, the show so far. But this show does such a great job of disguising the fact, or even other people that might feel like this is Daenerys' story, or this is, you know.
But that's what I love about this series, though, is because especially when you go to the books themselves, is that each chapter, it's not just chapter 1, chapter 2, it's just the person whose story you're hearing about. Exactly. And that's how it's broken up. And so the fact that they were able to take this book and turn it into the series, like, to me, this revolutionizes. I'm sure that there's been other series that have done something similar, but to me, it really does perfect, I think, the ability to tell, like, you know, the wrestler fan in me, the long-term booking is very, very good, because you have all of these individual storylines, but guess what? They all interact with each other. They're all a part of the same universe, and they all mean something. There is no wasted storyline. There's no wasted character. And the fact that we're building up to, because I'm already predicting right now, if the last episode of season 8 is not named A Song of Ice and Fire, like, I don't know what else it could possibly be named, because that to me would be the perfect way to end the series, is to make clear this is what the direction we wanted to go in the first place. But also, I had no idea that we were so damn close, because April 14th is the premiere of season 8, and I am just so excited. But I didn't get to say anything about the Red Wedding, so I just want to jump in on that.
Yeah, we need your takes on the Red Wedding.
So with the Red Wedding, I never read the books. And so by the time I was in season 3, I had maybe read book 1. Like, I was 3 seasons in, because when I got into the show, like, immediately, because I saw those trailers, and I saw, again, going back to Sean Bean, I saw Sean Bean was in it. I'm like, dude, there's a new series coming out with Sean Bean in it. I cannot wait to watch it. And then when season 1 ended, I was like, what the hell? Yeah. And at that point, though, I was like, okay, but it's okay.
I was about to quit. I'm not dealing with this shit. You killed my star. I didn't want it. And here I am. Look, 7 seasons later.
Yeah, and exactly, because they were able to build those characters up so damn well that you were just like, oh, this is okay. I can handle this.
But Odin, the thing is about Sean Bean's death, it seriously proved no one is safe.
Yeah.
All bets are off.
Yeah.
And when you have a show like that, as crafted as it is, with characters as we have, that's something really great to run with.
Hold on, guys. I'll be right back.
You know, here's the thing. Odin said it best. It doesn't matter what character you start with. If you go and you start the series and you're with Sean Bean, you know where his story ends, but then you can see where it continues. If you're a big Cersei fan, think about episode 1, where she's at. You know, she's in the tower with her brother, humping, kicking a kid out the fucking window, all the way
and that's just episode 1. That's just the
Yeah, I mean, episode fucking 1. I mean, you can pick any character and basically follow them through and see the cause and effect of their choices. It's just storytelling told perfectly, based off
Jimmy
of
Lannister.
Oh yeah.
From season 1 to the latest season. Oh my God, what a roller coaster ride he's been on.
Okay, Lannister or
Jamie Lannister.
oh my God! Talk about a guy who may have lost hands. I think he grew up.
Proper, you're breaking up really bad, brother.
No, Proper. We got to get you on
Am I good? Am I good now?
Okay, now you're good.
Yeah.
All right. So I think with Jamie Lannister, he may have lost his hand, but I think he grew a heart after that. I think that was the thing to happen to his character. However, it helped the character grow significantly after that. Especially when you also have Brianna Tarth along with the ride with him protecting him, and I love those two.
Not only that, Proper, but it shows.
Dear Lord, Proper.
It shows Jamie lose his hand, which was his sword hand. Then he tells the story of the Mad King, which already shows he had a heart and he was a good guy, but it was everybody pissing on him prior for killing the king and calling him a backstabbing little cunt. I think that just made him go, well, fuck you guys. I just saved all of you motherfuckers, and the thanks I get is you're spitting on me. So I'm just going to go haunt my sister. Go fuck yourself. Kind of a turn with it.
But I mean, that's why it's a great character arc for him, because it's
great.
Okay. I just had correspondence with Black Angus. Black Angus potentially might be joining us shortly, which would be awesome since he is my normal co-host for all of this.
All right, cool. Well, then I'll just finish up what I was saying about the Red Wedding, and then I'll head out.
No. Please feel free to stay.
So basically, I read book 1 after that, but I was stuck on the series from the very beginning, but I did keep on reading the books. Because I was loving the show so much, and I tend to like to watch shows and movies before reading books because I think then I can enjoy both. If you tend to read a book beforehand, you're more likely than not to not like it if it's been adapted overall. So I try and do it the reverse way because I think you get enjoyment out of both. So when the Red Wedding happened, I was watching it with my brother because it was a show me and my little brother watched together. And we were in silence for 5 straight minutes after. We didn't say a word to each other because we were just like, what in the hell just happened? And he knew it was happening, because he had read ahead. So he knew it was going to happen. And even just seeing it portrayed on screen was enough for him to be like, God, this is insane. And I just...
And the thing is, too, Odin, I think that's a great, I think the Red Wedding... What you just said there sums up the Red Wedding.
Yeah.
It's a special moment in cinematic and film history.
Yeah.
That even people that have read the book know what's coming. Just is like to see it. It's like, oh my God. Like say we had a novel adaptation of Star Wars Empire Strikes Back before we saw the revelation that Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Yeah.
We would have still, I guarantee it, you hear, no, Luke, I am your father. We would have still been in the theater like, oh my God, before, and we would have sat there even though Luke's like, no, we'd have been like, wait, Darth Vader, what? Like, we would have had the moment of like, holy shit. And the Red Wedding is that holy shit moment that I know that I've been seeking in entertainment to be like, wait, what? And then here's the thing, reverse, even when I read it in the books, I was just like, oh my God, the Red Wedding just happened. And I literally I'm done reading for the day. I'm done reading the book. It's such an iconic moment in this franchise. And I would argue in film and cinematic history, the Red Wedding is just like
moist. Here's the fun fact about Game of Thrones. They have multiple of those moments.
Absolutely. It's just like the Red Wedding is just one of many.
I say next season we'll have the Purple Wedding, which is also just amazing.
Exactly. That's what we're going to talk about next weekend on Black Angus Reviews channel. We'll be doing season 4, which we'll talk about the Purple Wedding.
Every season has this just huge high water mark. I mean, going a little bit ahead, spoiler, anybody who hasn't seen it yet, shut your ears. The Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's just But let's segue here into a little bit of Jon Snow talk.
And while y'all do that, I'll go ahead and take my leave because I got stuff to do anyway. But thank you for having me on. It was fun to talk some Game of Thrones. And
Odin,
you're
always
awesome.
fun.
And everybody, before I would say, make sure you check out Odin's movie blog if you hadn't. I know. Are you at 9,000 yet?
A little over 9,000.
His power level is over 5,000.
I said, let's get 10K for Odin, and make sure you guys check out his videos. He's a lot of great movie reviews and just pop culture talks and what's going on in Star Wars and just entertainment and Marvel and everything. Make sure you give his videos a quick check out, and make sure you like them, share them. And he's got a lot of great hot takes, and I think a lot of the fandom menace, supports you, and I hope that everybody will.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And guys, if you are here from my channel, please drop a like and a sub to all of the beautiful people on this channel. So y'all have
Thank
a good
you, all
one.
Father.
All right, Odin.
Love you guys.
Brother.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
See you, Odin. All right, and
I
once
can't
again,
wait for that comic book.
Once again, special shout out to Odin's movie blog for joining in on the Game of Thrones season 3 review discussion here with myself, proper Jeremy, Jeff the Iron Wolf, Jeff the Iron Wolf, and Abu Nas. So we got a great panel here still for you guys, and we're gonna talk just some more Game of Thrones season 3, and right now we're gonna talk about Jon Snow's storyline. I'm going to let Abu Nas lead us off here. And just so you know, Abu Nas, I will be scrutinizing your takes on Jon Snow's storyline because my cat is named Jon Snow.
Oh, I better walk care with this one, huh?
Yeah, I would say you better be
Real quick, I do have to get going. And don't really sound that great, so thank you for having me on again.
Okay, all right. Well, we will plug Proper Jeremy here. Proper Jeremy is the properest of the Jeremys and the president and council host of the Council of Jeremys. Make sure you check out his channel. Get him up. I think he's at get him up to 250. I forget how many subscribers you're at. Get him up to whatever the hell.
I'm at 268 right now.
All right, well, let's get him up to 275. Let's get him up there, and let's get him to 275. So thank you, Proper Jeremy, for joining, bud.
Absolutely. What?
Nope.
Get out of here, Jeremy.
Plug, and you're just like, what? Okay. This is why we love Proper Jeremy, folks.
Yeah, he's the best. I ain't even gonna lie. He is.
All right. So with that being said, so Abu Nas, just keep it in mind, I have a cat named Jon Snow.
I got you. Just overall,
you're not going to talk about Jon Snow, are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're going to talk about the man himself. Jon's story arc is, as everybody had mentioned before, is the actual Game of Thrones story overall. He just happens to be, because with everybody going through all the different issues within the kingdoms themselves, their characters, their personalities, their motivations, and this and that, everybody is so, and this is one of the great things about the show, you get so sucked up in everybody's overall storylines that Jon's storyline that flew under the radar is the very basis of the entire series in the first place. The main antagonist. There's no other main antagonist other than the White Walkers. And everybody is just doing everything else in terms of the power, the moves, the political upheavals, the characters switching back and forth in terms of allegiance and this, that, whatever. But we keep forgetting that the overall main antagonist is wrapped up in Jon's story. So Jon, at this point in season 3, is already captured. He's going into the wildling camp. He's got to meet Mance Rayder. He's trying to find out if this guy is going to attack the wall. All of a sudden, he comes in there, and now he gets the story from Mance Rayder. Like, look, kid, we gotta break through your wall in order to fucking survive. That's pretty much it. We're not coming in to take over. We're trying to get the hell out. And then And it's like, well, it didn't really catch on to John that his whole thing, because he was led to believe before he got captured that Mance Rayder was coming here to take over the wall and then take over the 7 kingdoms, and all the while that at the end of the day, they was just as much the victim as everybody else. And John had to come to grips with that throughout the entire season. So, but just for the sake of argument, by the time the wed wedding and everything else capped off, we're all sucked into that other world back in Westeros. But meanwhile, little by little, the mysteries of the whole White Walkers was coming to play, and John really grew into that role where he's being not only so much as being taught or being really schooled in what this thing is really starting to look like from the side of where he's at the wall, and as opposed to what he saw beyond the wall, you know. And I had to hand it to him. That Kit Harington really stepped it up this season. I mean, he got overshadowed, obviously, with everything that's been going on with Rob and the war and this, that, but that's okay. Because as you can see, by the time everything ends, this was the perfect moment where Jon Snow finally started to come into his own. You know, he wasn't the leader yet, but you could see the flashes of how everyone in Castle Black really converged to him, to basically surrounded himself with him, made Alison Thorne jealous, you know, and everything else. But that's what it was. I mean, Lord Commander Mormont was still alive. Was he? Wait a minute. He was still alive.
Jorah Mormont is killed in this season.
Yeah, he is.
Okay,
it's towards the end.
He was alive when he got to the camp, when he was captured. So
Craster's killed, Jorah's killed by that kind of rogue squadron of the Night's Watch.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was killed while Jon was captured. Yeah. Yep. When he got back to the camp and knew that, you know, the Lord Commander was taken out, what did he do? He got the peoples together and he handled the business, you know? So John's story really kind of kicked off more in season 3, but I just love the fact that it was with Jon that the entire, you know, basis for the Game of Thrones was right there.
Yeah, but not only just Jon, but also Sam Tarly.
Oh,
Sam really started taking off in this season.
Yeah, I should have mentioned Sam, but since we was talking about Jon, I just kept the focus on.
Well,
him.
The thing
Sam
is, with the thing is, in the early seasons, you can't really talk about Jon unless you talk about Sam too.
Oh no! I mean, like I said, he's the Samwise Gamgee. But my thing is that in terms of his character alone, he's pretty much was going to be the focus. We wasn't captivated by him as of yet. So he slipped under the radar even in season 3. But when you get through everything, including season 8, you would see that season 3 was his moment that he was coming into the limelight. He was starting to come into the limelight.
Yeah, but it wasn't really till season 4 that he really took off big.
He went off, but he was off and running in season 4, but the genesis of it started in season 3, and I love it.
And I love it when he got the sword from Lord Mormont that had the wolf's head put on it.
Oh yeah, that was key. That was key right there.
If I could have any sword out of Game of Thrones, or any two, I would have Needle and I'd have wolf's head.
Yeah, but
wolf claw.
Yeah, but Sam Tarly's Valyrian sword, Heartsbane, that thing was looking pimp. We finally saw what it looked like.
Yeah, that was pretty pimp. Oh, yeah, I was heartbroken when they had the meltdown icebreaker. I was like, no, not that sword.
Oh, man. No, but that's season 4. Don't go to season 4 yet. Don't go to season 4 yet.
Oh, that was season 4. See, it's kind of like another
The irony of it all is right now that I'm watching season 4, episode 1.
Well, the thing is, like Odin said, it all kind of blends together, so you kind of have to remember where the hell that happens.
Yeah, that's
true. I did homework, Abu. This is your fault because I knew you were coming on. Like Jeff knows last time we did this, I hadn't rewatched this stuff since it aired. So I was going off of memory and doing pretty good through seasons 1 and 2. And then Boyce texts me and he's like, "We got Abu," and I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm rewatching." I'm like, "That's it." I did homework so that I could be proper on this shit, because this has been a while, like I said, and I'm like, man, when you're talking with good guys like you guys, it's like I don't want to just go off memory. I want to go rewatch this shit so that we can have a great show, which we have had, and having a blast by all means. But it's just like, man, yes, the sword's on top of it. Whoever thought that Jeff the Iron Wolf would want a sword with a wolf on it? No one. Never.
Well, let's go to a more somber note here, and let's remember those that we lost in season 3. According to DeathTimeline.com, Game of Thrones, season 3, episode 1, Valar Dohaeris, there was no deaths. Season 3, episode 2, Dark Wings, Dark Words, a favorite of Abu Nas's. Hoster Tully died of old age, and we saw the multiple arrow misses trying to light his funeral pyre on fire. Episode 3, The Walk of Punishment. Master Torturer killed by Ramsay Snow at about 45 minutes into the episode. Episode 4, and now his watch is ended. Bannon died of a broken foot while being starved. Castor killed by Carl Tanner. Jorah Mormont killed by Rast. And good Lord, okay, so this is the guy that was killed by Daenerys whenever she said to Dracarys, buying the Unsullied from him. I'm going to try to say his name, Krasnizmo Nekalos. That guy.
He was a dick.
Yeah, he was a dick. I think we'd all agree on that. Episode 5, Willan Lannister and Martin Lannister killed by Richard Karstark, who was later killed by Robb Stark. So Robb Stark killed Rickard Stark for killing the 2 Lannister boys. In season 3, episode 6, a favorite of Theon Greyjoy's penis, Ross was killed by
lost
Joffrey.
to Tallywacker.
Yeah, Ross was killed by Joffrey. Season 3, episode 7, The Bear and Maiden Fair, no deaths, but nonetheless we shall have some in episode 8, and they will be the second sons of Miro and Prendal Nagazin, killed by Dario Naharis, and we have a White Walker slain by Samwell Tarly.
That was Sam's big moment.
Absolutely the big moment. And the big one, episode 9, The Reigns of Castamere. We have an old man killed at 25:04. We have Oral killed at 26:20 by Jon Snow. And at 44 minutes and 15 seconds, we have Talisa Stark killed by Lothar Frey. At 48 minutes and 37 seconds, we have Robb Stark killed by Roose Bolton. At 48 minutes and 57 seconds, we have Joyce Ehrenford killed by Catelyn Stark. And we have Catelyn Stark herself being killed by a slit of the throat at 49 minutes and 5 seconds by Walter Rivers. In episode 10, we have Frey Soldier killed by Arya Stark, who wanted to rape her. So let us take a moment and more knows we lost in season 3.
Shitty taps for you.
Recognize those that we lost. We need to also take a moment to realize that we lost another crucial member of the Game of Thrones family in season 3. A member of the family that Theon Greyjoy was quite fond of. Theon Greyjoy was quite fond of this member of the family. So was Ross. So it's appropriate that Ross and this member went as well. And let us take another 10-second moment of silence to remember that is Theon Greyjoy's penis.
And according to Ramsay Bolton, he had a nice size.
This is not a moment of silence, folks.
Ramsay Bolton said he had a nice size cock.
Okay. We're gonna go from a moment of silence to a moment of laughter, so that's good.
God. God.
And he puts emphasis on cock.
And now his
No,
cock is in a box.
All right. The best part in episode 10, whenever Ramsey is eating a smoked sausage.
And he was wicked. See, that's what you get, insult to injury. You're eating the sausage, you take a bite, and then you say, in bite, off.
And then he's just like, oh wait, no, this is
and then he started flicking the sausage. Now, if I'm Theon and I'm looking at that, I'm saying, Jesus, take the wheel and kill me now.
Well, no, that's what he says. Kill her. He asks him to kill him, and then but the thing is, that's where Reek is born, because he starts beating him. Ramsey starts punching him. He's like, I need to get you a name. He's like, you're just a bunch of meat. He's like, oh, but you Reek. You're Reek. And so Reek makes him call himself Reek. And so Reek is born.
This is true. This is absolutely true.
So it's like, oh my gosh.
If Theon had only listened to his men after taking Winterfell and just raided it, sacked it, and ran like hell.
Yep, exactly. Well, because
that's what I would have done. It's like, you have 50 men, you're trying to hold Winterfell against Roose Bolton. You're insane.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people were telling him. Like, I mean, so one of the last things that we'll talk about here today on our season 3 review will be Tyrion and Sansa, because Tyrion and Sansa are married in season 3.
Yes, they are.
So,
and I love Tyrion's response. My watch has begun.
Go ahead, lead us off here, because this is good.
Oh God, when he gets married to Sansa and she says, "You will never touch me," and he just goes, "So my watch has begun."
Yep, love it. Abu Nas, what do you think of Tyrion and Sansa's marriage, and Tyrion? Really, I think this just goes to show Tyrion's character.
Oh yeah, I thought that was one of the best pairings. To be honest with you, it was kind of sad in some ways, because I think Tyrion might have been attracted to a certain extent, but I think his honor really took more precedence because of what happened to her being shipped to Joffrey and then thrown here and being abused by him, and he really wanted to protect her from that because he knew what a little asshole shit his nephew was.
Exactly.
So he didn't expect that, his pops was going to say, well, you need to marry Sansa, put a baby in her and take over the North, everything was political with Big Daddy Tywin. But Big Daddy Tywin knew what he was doing. So, but with Tyrion, it was like, well, damn, you've been tossing her around with Joffrey. Now you give her to me. I don't know what to do with her. And he was a lot older than her. So he wasn't really that comfortable with being the husband of somebody that is like a child to him. But he took it in stride and he helped along. And then, by the end of the season, especially after the Red Wedding, it really broke his heart knowing that he's married to the woman whose family killed. And he has to try to somewhat justify it, if I can even say that right. But he literally had to normalize it to the extent that, if I can even speak to her or try to reach out to her. But he always, and I love this about Tyrion, he always respected her. He always did. He didn't, talk down to her. He didn't, marginalize her feelings or any way. It was hard for him to talk to her in certain respects when it came to the family and the war and Rob and his father, her father. But at the end of the day, he was a stand-up dude to her. And I really loved that about that whole season between them.
I mean, Tyrion really exhibits his, his compassion in this episode, in this season.
Yeah.
And it's like people that are like split on whether Tyrion's a good guy or bad guy. I feel like he's a good guy. I mean, this season, and one, how he treats Sansa, and what you said, Jeff the Iron Wolf, with his "Now My Watch Begins" or whatever. But one of the great reunions that I know we're gonna get in this next season is Tyrion and Sansa.
Yeah,
Can't wait for that. Like, people
and Sansa never thought.
Arya and Jon. They can't wait for Daenerys to meet Sansa. I can't wait for Tyrion to see Sansa again.
Well, here's the thing about Sansa. She actually thinks somewhat fondly of the Imp because, like you said, he never mistreated her. He never talked down to her. He was never really cross with her. But I also like Tyrion this season because I love it when Tywin made him master of coin. He's like, I've been better at spending coin, not saving it. And you want me to be master of coin?
And he wound up doing a good job.
Well, and the thing is, he started figuring out, oh my God, this country is bankrupt. Yeah. Because he understands that high finance is what runs a nation. And I loved him and the eunuch Varys. Oh my God, their back and forth this season was like legendary.
Oh, it was like that's, I mean,
the Master of Whispers.
You start to learn that Varys is really looking out for the realm in this season. It's very subliminal, mostly, not like straightforward like in season 4 and 5. But he's really starting to look out for the realm.
Well, no, that was very evident in season 1 when, you know, Varys would go down and talk to Ned Stark. He's like, I'm here for the good of the kingdom, and I believe you're the best thing for the kingdom right now, even though you're in chains.
And then beheaded.
Yeah. Yeah. But, the thing about Varys is he saw if you go back and you watch it beforehand, like where we've got to now, he saw all of this coming long before we got to it.
So, yeah, it's weird. Like, does he have, with the Lord of Light, all the stuff's going on with him. But the last thing that I want to talk about here briefly before we head out here, and that is going to be Samwell Tarly.
Yes, good old Sam.
Old Sam. So we see Sam. He meets Gilly. Really falls in love with Gilly, and
like
takes
right
away
from
from
the bat.
First Keep. And he does something that none of us really expected him to do, and it's kill a White Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way he does it, it was like that total act of desperation of, oh my God, we're all going to die. I have to do something. And he doesn't even think, he just does it.
And the thing is, I want to ask Abu Nas, if you had to choose a bodyguard, Samwell Tarly would definitely be your number one choice, right?
Samwell Charlie?
Oh, yeah. Samwell Tarly, yeah.
But wait a minute, repeat the question?
He would be if you had to choose one person, a one-man bodyguard, Samwell Tarly is your choice, isn't it?
Oh, hell no. No, I couldn't. I mean, against White Walkers, sure, but no, anybody else, no. I mean, Allison Thorne would probably say to me, "Looks like the bastards in love."
No, if I wanted a bodyguard, I want Podrick. That guy is the man.
Yeah, man. Podrick
Payne. I'm going with a dragon. The hell with it. Give me a dragon.
At least Podrick had the magic cock.
Oh man, I loved Podrick. Podrick is he's one of those minor characters that just became a fan favorite, and who he ends up with later in the show as a squire was just so funny.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like he goes from just being that guy that's just kind of hanging around to being like, hey, that guy's pretty cool to hang out. You should check him out, and then boom.
Yeah, I mean, the Battle of Blackwater Bay, we wouldn't have Tyrion Lannister if it wasn't for Podrick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I love it when Tyrion gets him laid, and she's like, she gave all the money back.
Gave it back.
What if you ever paid a hua and she not took the money? We need details.
Rob is grabbing ales. Tyrion's grabbing chairs. Like, we need details, and we need them now.
And Podrick is looking like, hey, man, don't do all this fuss over me, my lord. I'm just a humble servant. Humble servant, my ass.
Sorry for the Podrick sidetrack. Let's get back to Sam.
That's totally fine. But
Podrick is just.
I think that we'll get ready to wrap up this season 3 here review. And I'd like to thank the chat for tuning in here with Drunk 3PO joining in lately. Super Anime Gamer's been a frequent member of the chat here. Nico Blue, Big Steve, I know, has been in here. So thank you guys all for tuning in, and thank you all for the future for tuning in here for season 3 reviews. And I would like to let everybody plug their channel before we pop out here. And I will start with Jeff, the Iron Wolf.
I'm Jeff, Woof Woof, my channel. I do anything I feel like. That's me in a nutshell.
There we go. All right, superfan Adam Tryon.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I'm still laughing at Jeff.
Hey, I try to do these plugs and try to change it up every once in a while.
It's all right. Mine's real simple. All you got to do is come check out my wiener dogs. That's it. Dog Clan. That's where you will find all of our wiener dogs running, playing, having fun. By the way, Master Moist, Dottie says, fuck you. I'm pregnant. I'm almost due. We've got puppies coming on the 13th. And it's all Moist's fault because as great as world-class bullshitters and Jeff Hicks are, Frank and Dottie got it on for 50 minutes during the Moistcast Friday, Moistcast that we did. And he put 3 little bastards in her belly, and they're coming out on the 13th. So she told me to tell you again, fuck you, Master Moist. It's all your fault.
All right. And going from those wiener dogs, we're going to go over to the one, the only, the Abu Nas.
Oh, man. This has been an absolutely blast of a stream. Thank you for having me. Everyone in the panel is just awesome, A+ material. Abu Nas, I have my my very modest channel talking about Star Wars, little MCU. Definitely be a big DCEU lover and big Game of Thrones fanatic. So you can come check my channel whenever you can. It is for adults, so put the badass kids to bed whenever you come on to my show. And we do a little bit of everything and music to soothe the soul and get you in the fighting mood.
Exactly. And coming up, Abu Nas was saying earlier off air, he's going to be having a Game of Thrones special video coming out, live stream, I think.
Yep.
So make sure you guys keep posted on his videos as well for some more Game of Thrones content. And join myself and Black Angus Reviews, who unfortunately couldn't make it with us this week, but join myself, Adam. We will invite Abu Nas again as well, and Jeff the Iron Wolf as well, to join us next weekend on Black Angus Reviews channel for season 4 of Game of Thrones recap. We're gonna have the purple wedding, not quite the red, but purple. still deaths happen at weddings, so avoid weddings within the next week. But for now,
weddings like the period.
But for now, I'm your host. I'm the Moist from Moist Visions Inc., coming to you straight from the comment section of World Class Bullshitters to Moist Visions Inc. MVI. This is your host, the Moist, checking out with another Game of Thrones season review, and I will see you tonight at 7:30, where we will talk Marvel, Star Wars, and Scott Mendelson's Breaking of the Shield. Thanks for tuning in, folks.